Alright, we have a battle report today on this beautiful new board. We've got a 2,000 point game, Dark Angels versus Space Wolves. The Dark Angels list has two detachments. The first is a CAD led by Belial, and it has a Deathwing Command Squad with 3 Lightning Claws, an Apothecary, and a Heavy Flamer with a Chain Sword, or Chain Fist. And they are in a Land Raider Redeemer. Then we've got 2 tactical squads. Each of them has a Veteran Sergeant, las cannon, and a melt-a-gun. And both those squads are in Rhinos. And scouts with a heavy bolter with Hellfire rounds. And then the second detachment is led by an Interrogator Chaplain in Terminator armor. And it has 3 Terminator squads. One has all Thunderhammers. One is a Shooty squad with Cyclone Missile Launcher, and the other's the same, Shooty with the Cyclone Missile Launcher.
Alright, so on Space Wolves today we've got, we're going to run Skyclaws, 5-man squad of Skyclaws. We're also running 5-man squad of Terminators with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. With that group will also be Arjac Rockfist. HQ today will be Najal Stormcaller, Rider, one of those, Stormcaller. So with that, you're also going to have 2 squads of Grey Hunters. Both will have the same grouping. You'll have both will have Flamer and Melta. Also, one member is equipped with Power Axe. Each squad will be led by a Terminator. One will have a Flamer and Chain Fist. One will have Wolf Claws. Running 3 groups of Long Fangs. 2 groups of Long Fangs will be carrying Plasma Cannons, 2 Missile Launchers, and 1 Las Cannon. The third group will have 2 Missile Launchers, subbing the Plasma Cannon as a Heavy Bolter, and then a Multi-Melta. Each one of those will have a standard captain on that. We'll also have Dreadnought running with Las Cannon.
And is it
and Power Claw. Also subbing in cargo container is going to be a Razorback with twin-linked las cannons. Drop pod is subbing in as a Razorback with twin-link bolter, and also Logan Grimnar as the
legendary Logan Grimnar, Lord of War. Here's the board set up. We've got an icy mountain with some trees, kind of a tundra scene. It's good for the Space Wolves. Okay, the game type is Cleanse and Control from the Maelstrom of War, which is the you generate up to 3 objectives at the start of your first turn, and then at the start of your turn, if you have less than 3, you have to generate up to 3. So you always start with 3 at the beginning of your turn. There's 6 objectives. We've got objective 1 right here. Objective 2 is right here. 3 is right here. 4 is this? 4. 4 is right here. 5 is back here, and then we've got 6. We haven't picked deployment zones yet. Do you want to roll off for deploying? Got a 2. So Space Wolves can choose whether to deploy first or second.
I'll deploy first, and I'll take this side.
All right.
I got the mount.
Sounds good. So Space Wolf deployment zone.
You're safe.
I'm safe.
If you put one guy up there, you're going to get one.
We rolled off for Warlord Traits. The Dark Angels, Belial automatically comes with the Hunt. Where is he? He automatically comes with the Hunt, which is he gets an extra victory point if his unit wipes out the enemy Warlord in the assault. And he got, I forget the name of it, but it
Saga of Majesty.
Saga of Majesty. And so he, any units within 12 inches of his Warlord can reroll failed morale and pinning checks. And for Nigel, Nigel Stormcaller. He gets prescience and force weapon automatically because I forget what it's called. He rolled from the same table. He rolled for perfect timing, foreboding, and precognition from the divination table. All right, deployment is done. The Space Wolves deployed first. We've got a squad of Longfangs up here. And this squad is the missile.
2 missile, las, and plasma.
2 missile, las cannon, and plasma gun. Here we've got the Terminators with Arjak and Logan. In the middle we have Nigel Stormcaller with
Multi-Melta, 2 missiles, and heavy bolter.
Multi-Melta, 2 missiles, and that is proxy for a heavy bolter. The Dreadnought, and then another another Longfang squad.
Plasma, 2 missile.
Same as this far squad. So las cannon, plasma, 2 missile. For the Dark Angels side, we've got the scouts are hiding right there by objective 1. The Land Raider and 1 rhino is hiding back there behind a tree, and the second rhino is behind a tree. Reserves for both sides. The Space Wolves have 2 squads of, are these Blood Claws or Gray Hunters? 2 squads of Gray Hunters in each of the rhinos.
Proxy rhinos.
Proxy rhinos.
Razorbacks.
Razorbacks with las cannons on top, right?
1 with las cannon, the twin length las cannon, 1 with.
1 with las cannon, 1 with the heavy bolter, and then long Sky Claws. Sky Claws are deep striking in. In reserves for the Dark Angels are the command squad is with Belial inside of the Land Raider Redeemer, and then in reserves, because they have to for the Deathwing Redemption Force, are the 2 Shooty Terminator squads, the Thunderhammer squad, and the Chaplain. And I've secretly wrote down which turn that they automatically get to deep strike in on. And we're going to roll off for the beginning of turn 1. We'll see who goes first. I got a 2.
6.
I got a 6.
Let's keep those 6s going.
All right, so would you like to go first or second?
Let's go first.
First, I'm going to try to seize. 2. Nope. All right, Space Wolves turn 1. End of Space Wolf turn 1. We actually realized an issue with the Razorbacks. So to resolve it, because the squads couldn't fit inside for 2 reasons. One, they can only hold 6 models, and we both overlooked that when building lists. And then the other problem is he's got the Terminator Wolfpack leaders. So what we did to resolve it is 1 squad broke into. Did you break?
Both squads broke.
Both squads broke into 2. We changed his list composition. So there's 2 5-man squads broken out of each of the Gray Hunters. So the squad that didn't have the sergeant is in each of the Razorbacks, and then the squad with the Terminator Wolfpack leader is out in the open. So first turn, he shot everything at my Land Raider. He illuminated it with the searchlight on one of his Razorbacks, and he did get 1 penetration. The Dreadnought did get a penetration, and he rolled a 2, which bumped it up to a 3. So the Land Raider is down to 3 hull points, and it is now shaken. The Terminator squad ran a little bit towards that objective, and this squad of Grey Hunters moved down and ran a little bit towards that objective. End of his turn, he did get 1 victory point for getting, what was it, securing objective...
Objective 4.
4, which is right here. So he did get a victory point for that. He did cast Prescience using Nigel, and he got Perils, but then he rolled a 6. So he got Warp Surge, which is a 3-up invulnerable, Armor Bane, Flesh Bane, Smash. So a lot of it won't come into effect, but he did roll Perils, but he got something nice out of it. That's the end of Space Wolves turn 1. End of Dark Angels turn 1. It was short and sweet. The Rhino moved cruising speed and then moved flat out to try to get closer to objective 6. I drew 3 cards. 1 for charging a unit that has more models than mine. 1 for him failing some kind of leadership test. and then 1 for controlling objective marker 6. The Land Raider moved up cruising speed and then flat out to get off this little ledge. Rhino did the same, and then up here the scouts tried to move up and they rolled a double 1, and so then they ran up. And everything else is in reserves. We've still got a lot of Terminators sitting in reserves and the 2 tactical squads in the Rhino. So short and sweet. End of turn 1. No victory points scored. So the score resting right now is 1-0 Space Wolves. We're starting top of turn 2. End of Space Wolf turn 2. Was that 2?
And discard one card.
Yep. End of Space Wolf turn 2. We had the Terminator squad moved over and hid behind the cover there. They're waiting to pounce. The Skyclaws got a perfect deep strike right here, and then they ran up in their shooting phase. Over here, the Razorback moved up and ejected the guys up onto that victory point 6 to give him a victory point, or a tactical objective. The objective 6 to give him a tactical objective. Words today. And then the Long Fang, this squad ran up in their shooting phase. They moved up and then ran around the mountain. This Long Fang squad shot over at this Rhino and popped it, causing the guys, well, it wrecked it, so they had to get out on this side. Everything over here tried shooting at either this Rhino and failed to do any damage, or they shot up at this scout squad and 2 actually died. We need to take this leadership check, so let's see what they do. Leadership, they're fine on a 6. And that was the end of the shooting phase. So one more objective, one more victory point for the Space Wolves for securing a card.
Securing objective 6.
And you discarded a card?
Discarded a card and victory point for
First Blood. So Space Wolves are up to 3. All right, so we're starting Dark Angels turn 2. All right, end of Dark Angels turn 2. The Deathwing Redemption Force came in. We had 1 Terminator squad that deep struck there within 12 of the Land Raider, and they shot at the Long Fang squad up there, and they killed a couple, 2. And then this other Terminator squad deep struck in, also using the Teleport Homer from Belial and the Land Raider, and they shot a split fire over at the Dreadnought and actually got a penetration and a glance, which took it down to 1 hull point, and it immobilized it on a 6. So that Dreadnought's exactly where it's going to stay. The rest of the squad tried shooting at the Long Fangs, and they failed to do any damage. So the Land Raider squeezed through here and moved up to try to shoot at this squad, along with the Marines who moved up. Oh, and this Terminator squad deep struck here, and the special rule that allows them to run, they just kind of all spread out a little bit. This squad moved up a little bit and tried shooting at this squad. They didn't kill them. They're actually right there. There's 2 models left. But they broke morale and fell off the point, giving me this victory point right here. I score 1 victory point if your opponent failed a morale, pinning, or fear test. And then the scouts tried moving over. Focus. The scouts tried moving over to shoot at the Skyclaws, but they didn't do any damage, so they've sealed their doom. They're stuck. The Rhino right here moved up and popped out these guys, and they tried shooting down this squad. They killed a large majority, but they're still alive. And like I said, the Land Raider fired its assault cannon and killed, I think, a couple. Nope, it didn't do any damage with its assault cannon. So, and the command squad is still inside here with the 3 lightning claws, the apothecary, and the heavy flamer with Belial. So that's still waiting. It did try to shoot over its multi-melta at the Razorback, but did not do any damage to that. So that is the end of Dark Angels turn 2. We're +1 victory point. End of Space Wolves turn 3. Man, this was a long, brutal turn. What all happened? You shot the Long Fangs at
This group of Terminators.
This group of Terminators and killed one of the Thunderhammer Storm Shields. Several groups shot at this squad of Terminators. It was this Longfang squad and I think... and this Longfang squad. They both shot and killed 3 Terminators from that squad.
Oh no, they did split.
And
They did split. They killed 1, they killed 2, and then they also went after...
Yeah, so they did 1 split fire to kill 1 of these Terminators. So total between those 2, they killed 3 of the Terminators. And then the rest fired up here at this tactical squad and with good hits on the missile launchers and other shots and the plasma. They the Dreadnought killed another Terminator.
That was one of the 3.
So that was one of the 3. Okay. So 7 of the tactical Marines died, and they broke morale on a double 6 and fell back up this cliff. The Skyclaws charged the scouts, go figure. But surprisingly, they did not quite kill both of the scouts. There were only 2, so that's actually ideal because he's locked in combat and he'll wipe them out on my turn. But maybe these Marines can help. We'll see. The Razorback moved over and spewed out the guys over there. Dreadnoughts immobilized. This is the big thing that happened. Logan and his retinue moved up and charged the squad of Terminators, and with 13 wounds, brutally massacred them. So they're gone. We did deal 2 wounds in return, and he actually failed both of his Storm Shield saves on a double 1. So we killed 2, so that wasn't bad. And that's the end of turn 3 for the Space Wolves. Moving on to turn 3 for Dark Angels. All right, end of Dark Angels turn 3. A lot happened this turn. The Land Raider turned and spit out the command squad, who got out over here, and then this Terminator squad moved up so that they could fire and the Land Raider could get line of sight for the Flamestorm cannons. So all 3 squads, the command squad, the other 2 remaining models from the Terminator squad here, and the Land Raider shot and killed a couple of the Terminators with the shooting phase. And then they charged. Belial issued a challenge and took a wound from Arjak. And Mr. Rockfist, Applejacks. So he took a wound away from him, but then got instant death from Strength 10 Thunderhammer goodness. So Belial's dead, so that's Slay the Warlord and another victory point. He's got to roll a D3 later on for that. That'll be at the end of your turn. And then they didn't do any other damage. Nobody else did any other damage, and I lost 3 Lightning Claws and the Sergeant. So
another one for challenge.
Yep.
Accept it. So.
Oh, okay. So that'll be another one at the end of his turn. This squad over here moved and charged the 2 remaining models, and then they consolidated up, trying to get extra movement. This squad actually moved down and is hugging this so that they're out of line of sight of the Longfangs so that they can control Objective 6. Over here we had the Hero Scout failed 1 wound out of the pool and died, but he almost held them. You'll notice that this Rhino, the other tactical Marines got down into the Rhino, and it, I guess, has grappling hooks or something. It drove up, and it could fit just barely, where was it, right here, during its first movement phase, and just fit, and then moved flat out up here, and on a second dangerous terrain tester in the shooting phase, rolled a 1, so it is now immobilized up here. It's a permanent fixture on Mount Glacier. So it's the big reason is because the troops have objectives secured, so they're now controlling Objective 1. So end of Dark Angels turn 3. I got 3 objectives. 1 for charging as the underdog, essentially, charging something that has more models than I do. Controlling Objective Marker 1, which is up there on the mountain. And then controlling Objective Marker 6, which is right here with the conga line. End of turn 3. Moving on to turn 4 for the Space Wolves.
Everybody's done.
End of Dark Angels turn 4.
I rolled
Substantially less on the field. What did you shoot? You shot the Rhino. Rhino got shot by several Long Fang squads and got wrecked, and they got out on top of the wreckage. This squad was shot by several units. The Long Fangs and this squad and the Dreadnought. Yeah.
That was it.
Yep. And so they lost several, all but one Thunderhammer and one the Chappie. And then this squad wasn't shot at all.
Rhino or
The Razorback he helped also in the shooting to kill a couple. Yeah,
the Razorback.
The Razorback container. And then in this assault right here, the Skyclaws shot and assaulted the Marines. One died. They passed their morale. And, wait, did I ever take a morale check for them?
No.
I did not. Uh-oh. They're fine on 7. Okay, so, actually we didn't do any damage to each other in the assault. So they were locked, and over here, there's no more Terminators. I'm gone. The elite retinue for Logan and, all his characters, Ajax and Nigel, and the lone sergeant from the Terminator squad. They wiped out the remaining Terminators. This squad of Grey Hunters did move over and help in the assault, and they killed one as well. So this combat's resolved. Everybody consolidated out, and that is the end of Space Wolves turn 4.
We got 1 point, and now we're rolling a d3 for the one for the Warlord.
Okay. All right, so 2. So he got a total of 3 victory points this turn from slaying the Warlord. Oh wait, slay the Warlord's an extra one in addition to that.
Yeah.
So you got 2 from the card. Okay. So 2 from the card. 1 for controlling. What was the other one?
The other one was the challenge.
For issuing it or
accepting a challenge.
Accepting a challenge and winning a challenge. Okay. And then he got Slay the Warlord. And he also does have First Blood from previous. End of Dark Angels turn 4. The Land Raider moved up and Matrix style toasted on either side. Rolled triple 1s for the wounds. Didn't do anything here either. The Assault Cannon snap fired because I used Power of the Machine Spirit here, and it's 1 weapon shot here. Failed to do any damage there too. This squad moved up and they spread out a little bit. They tried snap firing the las cannon into the Razorback, and both that and the Melta missed. And then this squad, the Chaplain and the 1 remaining Thunderhammer squad, moved up and tried to charge, and the Thunderhammer died on Overwatch, and I would have needed an 11-inch charge in order to make it up a 2 and then over. It's a 9-inch charge, so through difficult terrain. So that's the end of Dark Angels turn 4. I did not score any victory points because I've got 1 that... let's focus this. There we go. Oh. I get 1 if I destroyed somebody that was controlling an objective marker, 1 if I destroyed somebody in the assault phase, and this is the Dark Angels one where you choose either your next turn, your next 2 turns, or your next 3 turns, and if you don't take a morale check, you get victory points for that. So I defaulted choosing my next turn because that's the only turn that's left. Alright, that's the end of Dark Angels turn 4. Starting Space Wolves turn 5. Last Space Wolf turn. End of Space Wolf turn 5. Alright, so over here, this squad moved around and ran to secure this objective. They got 1 point for controlling objective 3. Meltagun in this squad shot at the Land Raider along with literally everything else except for this. Yeah, except for a couple. It's dead. It got blown up by the Meltagun, as well as stripping a whole bunch from the other shots. The assault up here, we failed to do any wounds to each other. He has 2 cards that he needed to control this objective, so he's wasn't able to secure that. Over here, several of these models were moved and shooting from, I believe, the Longfangs blast templates. Yeah, and they actually need to take a leadership check because they lost 3. And the sergeant died, so their leadership 8.
Oh no.
10. Uh-oh. They fall back 6. All right, so we'll resolve that in a second, but we're about to start the last turn of the game. Dark Angels, turn 5. That's the end of turn 5 for the Dark Angels. He scored 4 wounds against my squad up here, and I'm going to roll them on camera just because they've held out for so long. Here we go. I need 4 3-ups. Ah. Oh, they held. Oh, victoriously holding the Rhino. I will put victoriously shooting down. Man. All right. So, end of Dark Angels, turn 5. What happened is this squad automatically regrouped for being Space Marines, and so they moved up and failed snapshot at the Longfangs. And then I think that was about it. Oh, the chaplain moved and ran in order to get line breaker. And then what just happened there? And they failed to do any wounds back. So they're locked. It's the end of turn 5. We're going to calculate victor points and get back with you in a second. End score is 10-5. Space Wolves. He got 10 for having all of the secondary objectives and then several tactical cards. I had, I believe, it's like 4 tactical cards and line breaker. So good game. That was fun. Good game. That was, oh man.